Thank you to our witnesses and to the Commission for attending here today. Thank you for the opening comments that you made. In your opening comments, one of the takeaways that I picked up on was that you would contribute some success in making cell phone plans more affordable, or the use of cell phones more affordable. That's maybe one of the Commission's expenses or successes. One thing I've noticed in the last couple of years is there's been a shift in the whole cell phone industry, and that's that where monthly fees used to be higher, the cost of the cell phone was minimal or almost non-existent. You just had to commit to 2 years. Most people replace their phone every 2 to 3 years. And the monthly fees are down, but the cost of phones now are $2,000. It seems to me that they've pursued the Costco model where they take the profits up front before you've even bought anything. Can you comment on that a little bit about the overall cost on a 2 or 3 year contract, whether it's really more affordable than it used to be 3 or 4 years ago?
Maybe I can start off and say that, so we do know overall that cell phone prices are coming down, and that's based on StatsCan data. I pointed to the 2023-2024 decrease of 16.7%. I think more recently, just over the past year, it's been roughly 10% is the figure that we have. With respect specifically to the devices, Scott, I don't know if you want to address that.
Our area of responsibility, who we have authority over, are the service providers. So your Bells, your Teluses, your Rogers. We do not have authority over the Apples and Googles or Ericssons who make those phones available on that front. What we have put in place certainly are measures to make sure that as the service providers are making offers to you, that your information that you do receive is made very, very clear, so that you understand that you are paying for a phone, understand that, if you are paying for it through your monthly bill, that is occurring. What happens at the end of your contract period, that you are able to renegotiate your service plan at the end of 2 years. Those are all measures that we put in place to help and make sure that Canadians are able to get the best possible price and that they're not surprised at the end of the day by certain situations on that front. Yes, we've worked diligently. There's a whole bunch of other, market impacts. So it's not just the CRTC that claims that we've lowered the cell phone prices. It's something that's been occurring for a number of different years now, and it's probably 50% lower now than what it was about 5 years ago on that front. So there is the impact. Canadians do need to, what we're working a lot on, as we mentioned earlier, was making sure Canadians can have the ability to switch, get the right information, can switch easily, can shop, and can get the better deal, and can get a deal for what exactly they want. They also have to think about, do they need a $2,000 phone or some other product on that front? So that's part of that regime.
And I appreciate that answer, but when you like you say, you have control over the service providers, but those are the ones that are usually bundling the phones and the monthly fees together. And my question was really, when you compare what a bundle would have been 5 years ago to what it is today, is it really that much cheaper over a period of 2 or 3 years?
What Canadians have been feeling is that they have been, over the last number of years, companies have been selling them plans, maybe with more data, more speeds, more options on that front, and more phone, if to put it quite frankly. So yes, over the last number of years, Canadians have not been feeling or didn't have the impression that they were getting better prices. In the last year or so, with a lot of the elements that have been put in place to ensure choice, to be able to help Canadians shop and do better, they're starting to feel that is changing. We're starting to see it with, the measurement of the average revenue per subscriber by the telephone companies. That is going down, so that's an indication. And through surveys, they're also telling us they're shopping around and they're starting to feel the better prices.
Feeling happier. Okay, yeah. Good. I just want to shift gears now over to the internet side, rural connectivity. $750 million you were tasked with dispersing to get fiber optics for the most part into the rural communities. The contracts that you issued to make that happen, were they sole source contracts or were they competitive bid contracts?
We have essentially it's a regime that we've put, not a regime, with a program that we put in place where effectively, yes, there's $150 million a year, which amounted to $750 million over 5 years. We accept, essentially, we have a process where we make calls for application. So the essentially people who qualify and who receive funding through that element, it's done through a competitive, essentially, bidding process for which it is an open process for which we render decisions at the end of the day and inform Canadians as to what has happened with the various applications on that front. So, we are a tribunal, so that's how we have exercised that approach. But it is essentially a competitive bidding approach.
So there were no sole source
Mr.
contracts?
Falk, I'm afraid
We're out already?